Hello everybody, good to see you here. Happy Tuesday. Here we are as always. End of February this week, coming into March, and where I am here in Michigan, it was almost 70 degrees today, so that is really nice. It's been super nice the last couple days, so wherever you are, hopefully it's been nice wherever you are too, weather-wise. Winter's not gone yet. I live in Michigan, for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure we're not done. I'm ready for spring to come around, but we're not quite there yet. So let's get our intention up this week. With mental clarity, I move forward. With mental clarity, I move forward. I find both parts of the intention as always, I find the whole intention in the astrology in the sky, but I don't know, this one, you can break it up into two. You could use it, I always say, like, alter the intention however it works best for you. So add words, delete words, change it around. It's a template, it's a starting point, it's an umbrella term, and then, make it fit to you. But, you could separate this. I move forward, I have mental clarity, I find mental clarity, I seek mental clarity, it could be I have mental clarity. You could break it up differently here. So yeah, a couple other Michigan girls here in the comments looking, yes, 70 degrees in the end of February. Can't believe it. Today's my little brother's birthday too. He turned 15 today, so I think that's nice that he had a really nice birthday weather-wise, especially for somebody who likes to be outdoors quite so much. So, hi everybody, it's good to see you all here. So let's get to it. As always, the intention is based off of the astrology in the sky, looking at all of the transits we have going on, and we have a doozy today. Mentioned it quickly last week, but today into tomorrow. Today last week we talked about how Mercury was getting closer to the sun, has been under the beams or within that like 10 degree under that effect of the sun for the last little while here, but today the sun and Mercury conjoined. Anytime the sun conjoins a planet, it starts a new cycle for the sun and that planet. So today Mercury and the sun are coming together. Very empowered moment for Mercury. And then the two planets traveling together are conjoining Saturn. These are all within hours of each other, so you can really say that it all happens together. That's getting pretty nitpicky to kind of like separate it all to say, excuse me, today is Sun and Mercury and tomorrow is Sun, Mercury, and Saturn. But technically that's the way it breaks up. But today, Sun and Mercury coming together in this empowered moment and then traveling, that's at 8 degrees of Aquarius. Sorry, 8 degrees Pisces. We've been talking about Aquarius a lot lately. So that's at 8 degrees, and then the two are going to move overnight to 9 degrees of Pisces, and that's where Saturn sits. So we have the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn all coming together over this week, over today and tomorrow. New cycles starting for both Mercury and Saturn when it comes to their synodic cycles with the sun. Very empowering moment for both of them. And it's a place of new starting and new beginnings within wherever Pisces is in your chart. The conjunction is at 8 degrees and 9 degrees, so looking around your own chart, seeing where you see those numbers, and putting that story together to get a little bit more details for yourself of how it's going. Yeah, this is a really neat transit to look at. So thinking about the Sun and Mercury together, okay? You see we have Mercury up here today on our altar table. So thinking of the Sun and Mercury together. Mercury representing our mind, our thoughts, our communication, our perception, the resources and the tools that's one that sometimes I think gets forgotten about. So there's this empowering moment within our communication, within our mental processes, and the way things come together for us. It's a new start as well as an empowering moment. So it's like an amplification of the mind. Insights can come quickly. Downloads is the word that we use a lot lately. Just a little bit of insights, little ideas, little light bulbs going off, things like that. New initiations within how you communicate with others, communicate with yourself, the tools and the resources and the things that are available for you in order to get the things done that you need to or to obtain your goals. These are the type of things that we see when Sun, Mercury comes together. So new cycle beginning. And then we're going to put Saturn in the mix there. So Saturn, if we think of Mercury as a changeable planet, right? Mercury changes its phases the fastest of all of the planets. Not including, when I say the planets, I'm not including the sun and the moon. The moon changes the quickest. After that, it's Mercury of the actual planets. So Saturn, if Mercury represents the tools and the resources and like the things that come and go within passing, I think about that with communication too, about how words, ideas, they come to us and then they come out of us as as words or communications towards other people. It's this like changing flow, and I feel like that's partially how I relate it back to Mercury. Saturn is the slowest moving of the traditional planets, so not including the outer planets of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Saturn is the farthest out and the slowest moving planet. So this is where we get the idea of these long-term structures and the stability that comes with Saturn. So we have this possibility and this opportunity where Mercury is resetting with the Sun to have this new start or this new chapter, this next level with Mercury and the Sun coming together here. New phasal change for Mercury and the Sun coming together here. The actual synodic cycle starts from within the retrograde. Sorry about that. So you have Mercury and the Sun coming together in this empowered moment, and then you have empowered moment of communication and thoughts and processes. But then you also have this empowered moment for the slowest moving planet, the planet of structures, the planet of boundaries and seriousness, long-term seriousness. When I think of Saturn, I think of the places where we need to slow down and we need to think things through. So the first part of our intention, with mental clarity, I move forward. So Saturn and Mercury coming together can bring a very, serious mindset. It can be very like all work, perhaps, but within that seriousness, there's this ability to create new cycles and new patterns within our thoughts and our communications that has the ability to last for a really, really long time. Setting new foundations within and new structures within where Pisces falls in our lives and where Mercury is, so our thoughts and our communications and our processes and those tools and resources. So you might find that things are coming to you that are going to be around for a while, might possibly withstand other things. I find I like this conjunction between Saturn and Mercury because there's such opposites between the two of them. Mercury is the fastest moving planet. It's the quickest changing planet. Mercury is also Hermes, is the god that is able, and the planet that is able to move in and out of the underworld, to and from the material world into the spiritual world, back into the material world, into the subconscious or underworld. So Mercury has this shape-shifting ability to kind of move back and forth. Mercury has been described as the psychopomp of the soul, so like the guider of souls to and from the underworld, into incarnation and back into the spirit realm. So we have that end of Mercury having this like quick changing, shifting, but then we have Saturn, which has the longest phases going, the longest cycle around the zodiac. It's very, very slow moving. Again, we're talking just about the traditional planets here, not looking at the outer planets at the moment. And then with how Mercury is able to move back and forth between maybe different dimensions or different worlds, there's this connotation with Saturn as well about being between two worlds or between two things. Saturn sits on the edge of the visible planets, of the traditional planets that were observed. So there's this level of being on the boundary, being on the boundary between what can be seen, what can be obtained, what can be felt, and then like the beyond. So it's like what's beyond the planets, beyond the realm of what we can interact with. And if you think of like the sphere of where the planets are coming down towards Earth, this is like the area that we're able to interact and react with. And then beyond that, we have like the divine realm above that. So there's this real like, there's this feeling of being able to reach beyond places maybe that we have not been able to reach before, or dig into places that we haven't been able to reach before. And I feel like that comes from the focus and the mental clarity that we have with Mercury and Saturn coming together. And then you have the sun there as well, amplifying the energy that is there, empowering the energy that is there, and bringing in our light, bringing in our soul and our purpose into this area, into this conjunction. So it's really, really a neat conjunction between the three planets. Because if you think about like the sun, our soul, our purpose, the divine knowledge light that is around us, that is empowering and lighting up everything, and then Mercury, the god of communication, that is swift moving, can change, and brings us resources and brings us messages and delivers us back and forth between different worlds. And then Saturn, the one that makes us, where like if Mercury is the one that's like flitting about and going back and forth, then Saturn is the stable one. Saturn is the one that doesn't move. Saturn is Father Time, where Mercury does not abide by time. So there's this real opposition between the two of them, or this broadness between the two of them, and then we're marrying that. So it's like the really, really near and the really, really far coming together. That makes no sense, does it? It does to me in a way in my head. So that's the conjunction that we have going on through tonight into tomorrow. Going to be in, you might already be feeling this or seeing things popping up for you through the weekend as it's applying. So then as the planets move away from that 9 degrees, then they're going to start to come into an interaction with Jupiter. So we have this big conjunction this week, and then Mercury is going to pull ahead of the sun, and Mercury's going to pull ahead of the sun and come into a sextile with Jupiter. The following day, the sun comes right behind Mercury and comes into a sextile with Jupiter. This is a nice cooperative energy that to come on top of this like possibly really serious heartfelt energy that we have with Sun, Mercury, and Saturn coming together. So then the two planets pull ahead of Saturn. They come into a sextile, a favorable aspect with Jupiter, the blesser of abundance and knowledge, the planet that typically, often expands whatever it touches and often brings us positive things. It can also expand negative things as well, but within the sextile, it's typically something a little bit more favorable. So I like how we have this serious, like, foundational structure of the mind coming together in this new empowered moment, in this ability to see what is kind of like right in front of us while also feeling and seeing kind of like what is beyond at the same time. And then we come into a conjunction with Jupiter, the planet of knowledge and wisdom. So it's like we have this cooperative energy between when Mercury comes into contact with Jupiter, we have this cooperative energy between like the deep knowledge and information of like the deep knowledge and wisdom of Jupiter with like the detail oriented information of Mercury. So I like using like knowledge and information as those two words, knowledge for Jupiter and information for Mercury. I feel like that kind of I feel like that describes the two pretty well, where Jupiter is much more abundant, much more widespread. So that's where we get this like more of a knowledge. Okay, so it's more of like there's something behind it, where Mercury is little bits of details and little bits of information together here. And then the Sun comes right behind it into the sextile too. So that's more cohesion between Jupiter, the planet of abundance and knowledge and blessings, and with the Sun, the soul's purpose here. So it's a nice little tip of the hat to something that could be a little bit different, a little bit serious. Mercury, Saturn coming together, you know, we're talking about this in a nice, positive, expansive way. This is one of those that I do want to kind of make note that it can be difficult. Mercury and Saturn coming together could feel like some sort of limitations of the mind, some sort of limitations of the structures and foundations that are around here. It could feel a little bit like a roadblock. I like to just mention that quickly, even though we kind of focus here, we focus a lot on how we can lean into the planet. So with that, we're looking more onto the positive side because we're leaning into, we're not looking to lean into the negative things. We're looking to lean into the positive things, right? But there can be some mental difficulty with Mercury and Saturn. And then you have the Sun right there too, just like shining a spotlight and a flashlight on it. So that's also a possibility. So with mental clarity, I move forward. It feels like with the three planets coming together, with this mental clarity that we have around, that it's going to show us and open us. Remember that like Mercury-Saturn dynamic that we're talking about seeing like what's right here and then like seeing what's beyond. It kind of feels like if there's a moment of clarity or like an aha moment, it could be kind of like something that motivates you and wants you to go towards that beyond thing that you're seeing, that Saturn 9 type thing that we're seeing, and having the Mercurial and the Mercury tools and resources and information and knowledge and communication to be able to do that. So with mental clarity, I move forward. Encouraging you to contemplate what you are looking to move forward on. Where do you see Pisces in your chart? What house does it fall in? That'll give you a little bit of clues. And what advancements are coming to you within the last couple days there? What little bits of information, what little bits of insights have you gotten here? So those are the aspects that I'm focusing on for this week here. Taking a peek at the comments here again. Hey, Kristen, thanks for joining us. Oh, ooh, tornado warning where you live. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing about this warm weather is you have the mixing of like the warm and the cold temp weathers, right? The different fronts coming together, because it's going to cool off here, so I imagine it probably is where you are too. So hopefully that's all okay and that just whizzes by really, really quick and it's nothing to worry about. But when you get these warm-ups and then the temperature cools down really, really quickly, I think that gives a big possibility of that. So, yeah, hopefully that works out well for you guys. Tom, looking here in the comments again, little things definitely coming through. Last day or so developing. Yeah, you know, it's like little big things coming through. So Mercury things, that quick movement, that motion, you might forget about, or you might miss it. Not forget about it, you might miss it. So, you know, phasal change for Mercury as it comes into a conjunction with the Sun, moving from one phase to the next, and a new synodic cycle for the Sun and Mercury coming together. new beginnings, some sort of new start, but a new start that is going to require some sort of effort, some sort of work, or just little tidbits coming together to kind of like fit and complete the puzzle. Yeah, so Nikita, Pisces is in my 7th. So your relationships and changes within your relationship and new phases starting there. Sounds right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, here for it, Melissa. So am I. Bring on all of the things, right? Yeah. So those are the aspects. Sun, Mercury, and Saturn coming together. Lots of different ways that it could play out. So if there's a heaviness around, just know that it's also in the sky. There's always two sides to this. You know, honestly, that is doing more and more of these meditations. That's what's making me want to start putting out other astrological content a little bit in some form, is that I want to address both sides where I don't necessarily want to do that right here. So, shoot, side tangent there. Okay, so then the card for today. You guys ready for this? Let me just get these out of the way here. The Magician. So today we're talking about Mercury and the Sun and Saturn and these new cycles here. And the Magician comes up. The Magician is often associated with Mercury, so we'll just start there. I pulled this card and I was like, of course. The number, so major arcana card. So you have the major and the minor arcana. All of the wands, swords, pentacles, and cups, all the numbers that we pull, those are the minor arcana. These ones have their own little special energy to them a little bit. So the number 1, the first card in the major arcana is 0, which is the Fool, kind of like the new beginnings and kind of like just stepping into the unknown, stepping into like brand new territory where you like have never been here before. It's like something like just sticking your toe in like the water or something like that. Then we have the number 1. So we have like an initiation and a starting here. So first of all, I find that to be very fascinating. And then the fact that we can associate Mercury with the Magician as well. So to me, the Magician represents the capabilities that is within all of us, the potential of action that we have within us, the potential of manifestation, resourcefulness, power, skills, abilities. The Magician tells us that we have all that we need within us to move forward. So with that mental clarity that we can find here with these 3 planets coming together, and a little bit of a positive flare from Jupiter with that sextile that we have coming right afterwards if it's a little bit heavy. It's like the universe telling us, you already have all that you need. Mercury's bringing you the tools and the resources that you need. Saturn is bringing you the structures and the foundations that you need. The Sun is the soul. It's you showing up for what you're showing up for, what's going on in your life. And it's very fitting. I pulled it and I was like, yeah, of course it's the Magician. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know I've pulled the major arcana before here, but it's been a lot of minor arcana cards. So I find that this is, yeah, Mary, the power within resonates. Good, I'm glad. Because that's, you know, the power, it comes from within all the time. Tom, it's fitting, feeling aligned with this, verification. Good. I'm glad that you both are finding alignment and that it resonates with you here. Yeah, I thought this was just another nice little tip of the hat from the universe here, telling us that there is some new beginning, some new opportunity that is coming your way, and you already have all that you need within you in order to move forward. All you have to do is realize it. So with that mental clarity, you're going to go ahead and you're going to realize it. And you're going to reach between the 2 realms. You're going to travel back and forth, just like Mercury can. You're going to sit on the edge of the world, the edge of the boundary of what can be seen and what is unseen, like Saturn. And you're going to bring the 2 of those together. And that that thought there of those two coming together, of like the near and the far, the fast moving and the slow moving, the changeable and the unchangeable. It feels very expansive to me because it feels very broad and very like wide reaching. So I love that. And I love the Magician. I love that it's reminding us that we all have magic within us. So we're gonna just take the Magician and we're gonna put it, let's see, next to Hermes here. I know I still got the intention up so you can't fully see it, but we're just gonna set it there next to Hermes. I love this little guy. He sits on my altar and we talk quite a bit. As far as like what I have on the altar today, I don't have any my usual crystals out, but what I have are a bunch of rocks that my family and I have tumbled together. So most of these are from Lake Superior up in the Upper Peninsula. So I just took a handful of tumbled rocks that I have out and available, and I just put them all around the candle and around Hermes here. So, you know, there's something about the nearness and the farness within these rocks. They sit by me every day in a little bowl. Sometimes if I just like, you know, we have like, there's the different like fidget activity toys and different little items that you can just kind of busy mind work with. Sometimes I'll just take a handful of these rocks and just kind of run them through my fingers or whatnot as maybe like a little stress relief. So they're always really, really near to me and very, very close, but they're from a place that's very, very far away. And if you think about, you know, the different rocks that are around, they travel, right? Unless it's like in a big, but like these little teeny rocks that we find places. I'm a huge rock hunter, rock collector, so like these rocks that we find, especially when you find like a bunch of different kinds on a beach somewhere, they've traveled. They've made it over some distance. They're really, really close and really, really near to you and really, really like small, intricate, and very like detailed, very different from each other, very mercurial, but they've been places that we can probably like really only dream of, like how many places these rocks have actually traveled, right? Like wherever they started and then they ended up in a body of water and then they washed up onto a beach. Lake Superior is a huge lake. I forget how deep it is, but it's huge, and I don't know, I thought that these would be fitting. So there's just a big combination of just all different kinds. I know that there's some jasper in here and some euconite and things like that. There's a couple that I've wire wrapped and things like that. But yeah, that's what I did for the altar for tonight. Yeah, move into a meditation. How about that? Check out the comments here really, really quick. Yeah, bringing it all on. Nikita starting on a new adventure, which we'll talk more about how that adventure is very 7th house as well. Yeah, know what's going on in your life for sure. Melissa, have my new lapis. So excited. Started, already activated. Cool. Yeah, lapis lazuli is a very, very, very powerful stone. And from what I understand, it's been used for a very, very long time as well. I've heard of it being used often like in like ancient stories of like kings wearing lapis lazuli, or being used in monuments, or like after somebody has passed away in like the memorial space. So there's a lot of history with lapis lazuli. Very, very cool. So with that, how will we take one last peek at our intention here, huh? With mental clarity, I move forward. With mental clarity, I move forward. You know, if you're not already feeling the go energy, like the big ticket things for the first half of the year are going to be coming here before too long. So the spring equinox is coming up in March. Shortly after that, we will be coming right into eclipse season, so we'll have a lunar and solar eclipse. Much of the United States is able to see that solar eclipse, so lots of people are going to have their eyes on that. And then the following month, we have the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus. We talked about how as those start to get closer, that's gonna become more into play. So these big transits and these big energy points, these activation points and moments are coming up. And then just after that, in May, Jupiter will move into the sign of Gemini. So there is some forward motion, there is some go. And yeah, that's that. So taking a couple deep breaths here. I'm finding that if I stop and take the couple breaths in between the talking and the meditation, that's helpful. So thank you for allowing me to do that. Join me if you'd like to. We're going to light our intentional candle, and as we do, let's bring our intention into it. As always, we use a white candle because it's a color that can be turned into any color you want to make it. If you have a specific color for manifestations in mind, visualize this candle being that color. Also, if you have your own candle, light your own candle. White to me is purification and protection and the light of divinity. When I think of white light, I think of the light of the universe coming down and raining down upon us. There is white sage oil in these candles, as I've mentioned before, so that amps up this purification process as well as the communication too. I find that sage brings other energy, it pushes some energies away and it brings other energies closer. So we're going to use the white sage candle as always, and we're going to light our intentional candle. As I do that, we're going to repeat the intentional phrase. Feel free to say it out loud with me, or if that just doesn't work for you right now for whatever reason, say it in your head or whatever works best for you. So we're going to light our intentional candle here. We see the flame ignite, and then we see the flame start to grow. As the flame of the candle grows, so does our intention. With mental clarity, I move forward. With mental clarity, I move forward. Taking another nice deep breath. Exhale. Nice big inhale. And an exhale. If you haven't already, find your nice comfortable position. Get out any last minute little fidgets or wiggles that you have. And let's drop into a space of both near and far. As we come to a place of stillness, close your eyes if you're ready to do so. If not, that's okay. Soften your gaze. Perhaps find a position or a point or an object to kind of look towards, but not necessarily focusing your gaze on. Perhaps you're just kind of looking towards or looking past that item. The idea of looking towards and looking past something has this connotation of near and far within its own right. Kind of neat. And as always, let's start by checking in with our breath. Checking in with the current state of our breath. Checking in with the current state of our mind and our physical body. Is your breath fast or is it slow? Is it shallow or is it deep? Does your breath feel efficient? Does it feel fulfilling? Or does it feel just rushed and automatically done out of necessity? Do you connect with your breath throughout the day? Or is this the first time you've checked in with your breath today? Be honest with yourself. Either answer is okay and valid here. Just bringing in awareness, bringing a mental clarity to the state our body is in and our mind is in right now. After you've taken a moment to check in with your breath, let's start to work to deepen the breath. The goal here is just to have each inhale slightly longer and deeper than the one before it, and to have each exhale release slightly more air for a slightly longer period of time than the breath before it. Today, as we sit here in a place of silent meditation and contemplation, Mercury and the Sun come together, conjoining and marrying themselves in a relationship between your mind and your soul. At this moment, the messenger god sits with the highest of kings in the sky, moving Mercury from its morning star phase, transitioning towards the evening star phase. Today, as these two planets come together, we call in new resources that serve our highest good and path. In this empowered moment, we affirm that our communication will be effective, efficient, and positive. Our communication with ourselves, our communications with the others around us, as well as our communication with the energetic world around us. And then the two planets come into contact with Saturn. The planet of foundations and framework. The planet of boundaries, the planet of lessons, the planet of time, long-lasting, solid time and foundations. What new long-term foundations are you setting within your mind? Where are you looking to communicate better than ever? Where can you be serious and firm, yet understanding and cooperative? The sun sitting with the fastest moving, most changeable God, as well as the slowest, most stable, dependable, and reliable God, coming together. Perhaps shape-shifting our foundations and our boundaries and our framework. Those systems and structures at the deepest core where may you be looking to change the way you respond and communicate with certain things? This is a great time to start new cycles of communication, new cycles of ability and resources. Practical mind, seeing things with such mental clarity that you can see, feel, and observe all that is around you in your immediate environment. But through this clarity, you can see beyond. You can see beyond your immediate environment. Let's bring, if it feels right to you, one hand to your chest or somewhere on your physical being, and take your other hand and just extend it out forward. If you aren't in a place where you can do this or feel comfortable doing this, totally fine. We have the mental capacity today to do things mentally as well. Here, one hand on our physical body, something within our immediate environment, and the other hand extending out in front of you, reaching beyond ushering in what is going to come your way. With mental clarity, I move forward. There's forward motion coming your way. What is that forward motion? What are you calling it? Now we take both hands, reaching them up towards the sky, up towards the sun, up towards the planets, up towards the moon, up towards all of the celestial bodies that guide us throughout our lives. Seeing them clearer than we have before. Feel free to keep your hands up or lower them down. Here we take just a moment to connect with the energies around us. With this newfound mental clarity that we are obtaining. Perhaps something comes to you, some sort of message, some sort of light bulb that you may have missed before. Today we have the ability to start something new within our mind that is long-lasting. Mercury moving from the morning star to the evening star phase, halfway through the cycle, carrying all of the knowledge from the first half, from the morning star phase, the learning and the knowledge phase, into the evening star phase, where we can take all of that, everything that has led up to that point, all of that knowledge, all of that information, all of that experience, and create something with it. Today, we can lay new framework, we can lay new structures. We can see the boundaries and see beyond them. And just as the Magician card reminds us, all that you need is already within you. You have the physical, emotional, spiritual, and energetic powers to do so. Today, you have the assistance of the shapeshifter, of the messenger God, the one that carries us to and from realities. And Saturn, the planet that sits on the boundary. planet that makes us think before we can say yes. Before we end this meditation, let's all take a nice deep breath in together. Exhale. One more, breathing in and breathing out. As always, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, all of you, for being here. I think this week is really cool, really neat. I love when we have our live meditation right within the thick of the energies that are going on around us. There is oftentimes, not always, but there's oftentimes where, like, it's Tuesday, that's what's going on, Tuesday. It's not always like that, but there are some times where, you know, like, you can listen to this meditation later on. You can do this at another time. You can watch the replay and re-catch it often. But this is one that if you're able to be here live, there's just extra special magic. And you know, that's through the next several hours as well. So this energy is continuing to move on and continuing to perfect. It's not 100% there yet, but it's really, really close. Like less than a degree apart from each other. So, yeah, Mercury and Saturn. Hey, thanks for coming anyways, late or not, you know, love for Mercury and Saturn. Love it, love it, love it. It's, yeah, there's such a, you know, they're not within like the theory of astrology. They're not the quintessential planetary opposites. But when I was looking at these two planets coming together, I was just realizing all of the similarities and all the contrast between the two. Like there's a lot of comparison and contrast between Mercury and Saturn. And I think that in itself is something to meditate on tonight. Oh, you appreciate it. The last 20 minutes, you know, that's the meditation part of it. And I've said before too, like, if people don't dig both parts of this, pick and choose. Do the first part, not the second part. Skip the first part. I know that's not what you're saying, but like it's totally okay and totally possible. You do you and whatever works for you, you know? I don't know, did you probably missed that we pulled the Magician card when we're talking about Mercury here too. So that was perfect and spot on. Yeah, it's all perfect and spot on. So just this week, go forward with that mental clarity to be able to see all the things, being able to see things that are close and near to you, be able to see those details and like the what's what right at the forefront, but also being able to kind of have this wide, broad view of what is beyond, what could we reach for, what could we usher into us, and those things that you set, things that are in motion right now. Those people that have things going on right now. So we all have things that are going on. I don't mean to like make anybody feel like you're not included in this, but like those things that are going on right now, it's long lasting. The things that Saturn brings in are structural and foundational and framework. So it's like the building blocks of things, okay? So like the foundation of a house. You don't get rid of the foundation of the house. It's the solid part of it there, right? Okay, yeah, you saw it sitting on top of my statue here. I love this little guy. Yeah, I need some more statues, but because I have I feel like having the statue on my altar just, I don't know, there's a visual connection. I guess it's a visual thing. Very cool. So thank you all of you for being here, as always. I appreciate all of you, and I think this is one of those nights that, like, unless you have to run off somewhere, sit in some meditation by yourself for a moment. Contemplate the things that are going on around your life and what do you want to keep around and what do you not want to keep around. Because just like the magician told us, you have all of that ability within you, at least to usher in what is there and available for you, you know? I have said this before, but I totally see things as like a very mix of fate and free will. I don't think, that's why I always say we are co-creators of our reality rather than like we create our own reality, because I think that Saturn's in all of our lives, right? We all have this framework and this structure that our lives operate within. So like within the context of your life that you set up and within the context of your own natal chart and your own path for this life, you are able to create and manifest and bring forward whatever the hell it is that you want to bring forward within that framework of your own reality and your own path that you set forward for yourself. So that's that. New intention next week on Sunday. You can look for that. Spend a little time with it yourself. Totally encourage you to do that. Even if, like, when I release the intention, there's nothing astrological behind that until we meet here, right? Like there is astrological things behind it because that's where the intention comes from, right? Like the astrology guides me towards the intention, but like when the intention is released, you just have the words. With mental clarity, I move forward. So see the intention and just think about it for a few minutes and just see what comes up. With mental clarity, I move forward. And see if you want to change the intention at all, because I've said that before. You can change it, you can add words, you can remove words, you can do what you want. So yeah, have a good night, have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Okay? Bye now.